Okay, it's marked Philips. I bought it out of China, and it's, of course, clearly looking like it's meant for that market. The bulb's funny, though. It doesn't seem to show up even on the Chinese domestic market websites, and the website that I brought it from on the eBay listing was a fairly confused affair, using words like Cree and local factory. The packaging is wonderful. It completely mimics Philips. So if this is a Philips bulb, that's fine. If it's not a Philips bulb, it's a wonderful counterfeit. It does those things all of a sudden concern you, though. It has, for example, a tremendous efficiency. It's 720 lumens and 7 watts. So that's over 100 lumens per watt. That's really quite a bit better than anything that's being offered at the moment in the North American market. So it's going to be a two-step video. Obviously, just going to look at the performance of the bulb, and then more of a teardown to see if I can divine whether this is a real Philips bulb or if it's counterfeit. So first question is flicker. I got the bulb shining onto a solar cell, and when I look at my oscilloscope, there is no meaningful flicker. So good. That's consistent with Philips. They've generally offer no flicker products. Okay, next question is dimmability. The bulb does not seem to be dimmable. It has a sort of flickering behavior, which is fine because if I understand the symbology here, it says it's not a dimmable bulb, so good, consistent with the packaging. In terms of power consumption, packaging said 7 watts. You can see it drawing just about 8 watts, and the power factor is 0.57, so far from unity. Okay, light distribution patterns, polar graph. There's two plots here because I took from my files a Philips bulb, an 880 lumen A-shaped bulb. That's the red line, and then the bulb that we're looking at today. So clearly this is a very downward firing bulb. It doesn't match the previous A-shaped Philips, but more importantly, the size of the graph tells me something's amiss. This is 880 lumens, this is 720 lumens claimed. Now I don't own an integrating sphere, so I can't tell the exact lumen output, but this seems too small for it to be the same area as this. So another data point which makes me suspicious. Okay, before I tear the bulb apart, just taking a look at some of the pad printed text. The Philips logo, for example, is pad printed in the right color, so if this is real, great. If it's not, they've done a wonderful job of emulating it. Same thing with all the regulatory text. It all looks terribly legitimate. And even when we look at the box and run this barcode, it pops up a barcode which points to the Philips Investment Company, China, which is at least plausible text. Anyways, let's continue and take the top off. Okay, saw the top off obviously, and not a surprise on the direction of the LEDs was a very directional output there. Very unsophisticated. It's probably an aluminum substrate, but with just LEDs and a pattern. So that certainly isn't typical of any LED bulb I've torn down previously from Philips. So one nice thing about the bulb, fake or not actually, this is of course the aluminum substrate, a reasonable amount of thermal paste, and the heat sink. You can actually see there's cuts in the vents here and here, so actually heat can come, air can come in and they exit, and it's an inner heat sink. I haven't seen anything quite like that before. It's really there's a lot of surface area there, so interesting design. Okay, well here we have the base obviously, and I've removed the electronic circuit board. No potting compound, another suspicious thing. Don't often see that in a Philips bulb. Wiring schemes looks a bit different. Pretty straightforward topology. 4 diodes which form a bridge rectifier. There looks like this small MOSFET or perhaps control circuit on the side. Capacitor on the input side, a capacitor on the output side. Here's our rectification diode. It looks like a transformer, so it is an isolated design. There is no markings on the PCB which tell you one way or the other, so I honestly don't know. Now I do know there's actually a number of industry experts who follow my channel, so if anyone can chime in and tell me, am I looking at a fake or am I just looking at something for the Chinese domestic market? I'd like to know.